As a Haitian, I always say that Haitians don't necessarily identify with Caribbean culture per se, but we're our own little bubble inside the Caribbean. Generally speaking, a lot of people have a certain perception of the Caribbean and the culture that comes from it. And within that Caribbean culture, there are many subset cultures that really make up the Caribbean. To make things easier to understand, I'm going to simplify the explanation and say that there are three main colonizers of the Caribbean. Those colonizers are the English, the French, and the Spanish. From the English, you have countries like Jamaica, Bahamas, Barbados, and that makes up the majority of the front-facing Caribbean culture. And then you have the Spanish, which is countries like Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Cuba. And then for French, you have countries like Haiti, Guadeloupe, St. Lucia, etc. And I say all of that to say that as a Haitian, we don't really identify necessarily with a lot of that front-facing Caribbean culture. We don't really identify with the English-speaking countries or the Spanish-speaking countries. And with the French-speaking countries, we might be able to relate with language, but that's kind of it. A lot of Caribbeans like to talk about whether it's plantain or plantain. In Haiti, nous dit banan. Or whether it's soca or dance hall. In Haiti, we like compa. And we can listen to soca, dance hall, whatever, but that's not necessarily integrated into our culture like it is for a lot of different Caribbean countries. I'm not saying that we don't identify with Caribbean culture, but a lot of the front-facing Caribbean cultural aspects we don't identify with. And that's mainly because of the language barrier and a lot of historical aspects as well. But yeah, that's why you hear a lot of Haitians say, I'm Haitian, or they'll say, I'm not Latino, or they say, I'm not Caribbean, I'm Haitian, because a lot of our culture is kind of just our culture. And of course, there's a lot of different aspects of our culture that are shared throughout the Caribbean and other cultures that are shared in our country. But all in all, Haitians are our own little group.
Living a dream, living the African dream.
Are you planning to travel, relocate, or invest in Africa? Before making permanent decisions, equip yourself with the knowledge you need to make informed choices. Africa 101 is your guide to relocating, investing, and living in Africa. This is your essential resource, covering the basics and must-know insights to guide you confidently. Download your guide now at panafricanlifestyle.com and take the first step toward a thriving future in the motherland.